This project has been going since at least 2019. Nobody knows about it. It's an altcoin gem, and it already has several 100,000 monthly active users using its application. And I'm going to be speaking to the CEO about it.
Tokenmetrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams.
This is my BitTube channel. Please come and subscribe to me on BitTube, censorship-resistant platform. You can also find me on Odyssey, Lbry, and Bitchute. Follow me on Twitter, CryptoRichYT, and join my official Telegram announcements channel. All the links in the description below. Hey, Lewis, thank you so much for making yourself available. You are the CEO of GEODB. Louis, do you want to start by telling us a little bit about GEODB, what it is?
Yeah, well, it's a project from 2018. The idea came back from them. We incorporated the company 2 years ago, 2019, in the middle of a tough situation within the crypto market. And we've learned a lot since then, and we are just trying to solve many of the inefficiencies of the big data industry, trying to bring speed, quality, efficiency, and trust, on top of something that has been very argued recently, or everything that has to do with user data, and how these big corporations are building very profitable business models. So we are trying to, connect all the dots of the industry and with something that has real value in an industry that is already moving huge amount of money worldwide.
Okay, so GEODB is a blockchain project that works in the field of big data. Yeah. The token is GDB, and that's an ERC20 token.
Yeah.
Yes. But what does GEODB actually do? Because there's data for anything and everything, and how are people using this?
Yeah, so basically, there's huge demand out there for data. Okay, and this is not what has to do with advertising. So this is advertising and connecting data with advertisers is what Facebook, Google do. We are in the other side of the industry, which has to do with business intelligence. How we use data to take better corporate decisions. And it's really very tough, for all these big companies that are willing to learn from the world and from what is happening out there to actually acquire data. Okay, so we have big silos of data which are not interconnected, so it's very difficult to access that data. And at the same time, we have a big bunch of users worldwide, sharing data and not getting anything in exchange of data. So in the end, we're trying to connect those two things. Have happy users that are going to be getting some sort of reward in the form of a token for the data they share with the ecosystem, and a blockchain decentralized ecosystem where anyone in the world can come back, to actually acquire data and use it in an efficient way. And, it's like a super aggregator of data sources where, market participants can interact between each other in a more fair way in the end.
Okay, so give me an example, because, there's data involved in all facets of life. So give me an example of how a particular project or a particular use case.
Yeah, so basically, for example, so how I see this, like in 10 years, we will have this decentralized ecosystem where we have hundreds of data providers. And data providers can be, mobile applications, game apps, websites, e-commerce, fintech platforms, whatever. All those platforms are constantly generating user data, which has a lot of value. It may not have value if you try to sell your data, in a private way, because it's a very small piece of information. But when you put together, data from hundreds of thousands of users that come from different, platforms, that becomes information. And when you combine information with information, you get knowledge. And that's the knowledge that all of these businesses are looking for. Okay, so just imagine you download, for example, our first ecosystem application, which is called Geocache. You simply, you download it. You don't have to even register because we don't get any personal data from you. We're not asking for an email account, a phone number, physical address. It's just you creating your ID, which is actually an ERC20 wallet. Okay. Well, in this case, in our mainnet, we're going to be using the BSC chain, just because it's cheaper, in the end to do transactions. So basically you load your wallet, and then that's your ID, and you immediately start to share data with the ecosystem. And for every block of data you share with the ecosystem, you're getting a reward. And what do we get from those, data blocks? Basically, it's about full device information. So what's your brand phone, your operating system, what applications you're using, what's your connectivity, how are you using your storage capacity. So all that information combined with location data brings up a lot of, potential knowledge for data buyers. But data buyers, all that data is going to come, through data pipelines to our ecosystem. It's going to be stored in a decentralized way, and we are going to be able to create, data marketplaces. And data buyers are going to come to our ecosystem. They're going to be paying with the token too. So it's like a circular model. We have a reward token that can be used to actually interact with the ecosystem. No, and those buyers come to our ecosystem and actually acquire data from, that has been aggregated from several sources in the end. No, and this can be used, for example, I imagine you are a restaurant owner and you want to increase the number of restaurants you have in Madrid, for example, and you're willing to know where are the best locations for your restaurant, for your new restaurants. No, well, using all of this data analytical tools, you can end up, finding the perfect spots. But those data analytical tools need raw data. No, and this is what we're trying to build. The perfect, data sources for all of those big data, consultancy companies that are willing to learn what's going on around the world.
That's incredible. Okay, so let me get this right. So I download the Geocache app onto my Android phone.
Yeah.
And the ID, I don't give any personal information. The ID is just the address, which is a BSC, Binance Smart Chain address.
Yeah.
And then that data gets sent to a big data center. I get rewarded for the data. And do I get to say what data I get to share, like, the duration of my phone calls, whether I use this messaging app or that messaging app, the storage space? Do I get it?
You cannot decide that. You can choose whether you share or not share, but you cannot. Well, at this point, you cannot decide what data you're going to be sharing. No, so we disclose under the user terms of the applications what data we're picking. Okay, and as I said, that's full device data, so it's probably everything. But we don't get into your your email content, or your messaging content. But we know that you have Telegram and WhatsApp installed in your phone, or Facebook or Instagram. We know that the time you're using your phone. We know, how much storage capacity is being used for pictures or videos. We know the size of your screen, what's your brand phone, your phone brand, and what's the model of your phone. So the moment so people maybe don't know, no, but the moment you install an application in your phone, even if that app is not asking for specific permissions. So normally when you install an app and it says, can I access your agenda, or can I access your pictures, or can I access whatever? There are certain things you need to give active permission, but there's huge amount of data that can be already accessed by the owner of that app, by the developer of that application, the moment that app gets installed in your phone, and they don't have to ask for permission. So there's huge amount of data that's being shared right now by users, and they don't even know they're doing that. So we are not trying to build something new. It's under this thought that we are all already doing this. No, so we are part of the digital world, and we understand that our data is being accessed. No? So what we are building here is the needed tools, so that users, knowing that this is already being done, can get an actual, reward for doing so. So it's like a binary stuff. Before it was 0, now it's 1. So at least you're getting something for your data. Knowing that if you say no to me, because I don't want to share that data with the GEODB ecosystem. Well, you're already doing it constantly, and it can't be stopped. You cannot stop it. No. So this is some sort of, you are actively participating with the big data industry. Well, start getting something, and actually deciding a little bit about where your data is going.
Right. Okay. So I can definitely see the incentive for me in getting, in downloading this app and being paid in crypto, right? Who doesn't want to do that? And also a liquid crypto. And just remind people, I'm going to have the links to the website and the Telegram groups for this group in the description below, so you can go check it out. But that's interesting to me. But what's in it for the data users, the consumers of all that data? Why are they going to have to buy this? What is this cryptocurrency token and get a wallet or something?
Well, actually, so that the system, it's going to be built on top, below a decentralized organization. So this is going to completely be shared to the internet. We're going to have this governance token, and we are going to have a lot of founding partners from other blockchain projects participating in the ecosystem. But basically, you are going to be also being able to buy data using, conventional currency. The system behind, actually paying with a credit card is going to be converting it into, actual currency of the ecosystem. And within the ecosystem, it all works with a, cryptocurrency, but you can still pay with normal conventional, pounds or whatever.
Okay. All right. So they get to aggregate all this data and then they can use it to inform their business decisions. How do I know that it's not going to be used for evil purposes by security agencies, governments, large corporations?
Well, the protection here is that we're always talking about not private anonymous data. No? So there's never going to be the option for, an actual buyer of that data to actually connect that data to you as a person, to you as, Luis Gelado. They're not going to know. They're going to know that there was a device, and I don't know, an iPhone 11, with operating system 11.2, and the side screen that was moving around Madrid in these specific places, close to these shops, consuming, whatever, bakery shop, a Saturday afternoon, or taking beers in that bar on a Sunday, and that I'm using, social networks, but they are not going to know it's me, no, at any point. So, data can't be stopped, and of course we are willing this ecosystem to be used for, for true good things in the end, no? But I'm not expecting this, because the data we are grabbing has to do a lot with business opportunities, no? So I really don't see how someone would be using the data we're grabbing for a malicious, purpose. I don't know. I really don't get that point, But of course, it's going to be an open ecosystem. The minute you have a wallet, you connect the wallet to the ecosystem, and you pay for whatever query you want to launch there, and you actually buy the data. Well, you can do it. The thing is that they're never going to know who the persons behind that data are.
Okay. All right. Now, what you said before we started recording, you got over 300,000 monthly active users.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, it's a good. If you try to compare that with other blockchain crypto projects, it's quite big. That the adoption is still not here. Technology is quite complicated. How to operate with all these tools. So we are not even close, to actually, retail mass adoption in the streets. If I go down my house now and start asking people about Bitcoin and Ethereum, they don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so that number is good, but we still are very far away from our goals. We should have, in 5 years, millions and millions of users connected to our ecosystem, because that's where value comes. In the interconnection of data from multiple, places, devices, platforms, and users. But of course, if you compare that with probably 80 or 90% of active blockchain crypto projects, well, we have more active use than
yeah.
them,
No, it's a lot. I mean, from a blockchain perspective, it's a large number. Yeah. From the potential perspective, it's tiny.
Oh, very tiny, of course. There's a long way to go, but these numbers, what they show is that people actually care about what we're building, and they find some sort of value behind, being rewarded, and actually someone being or taking care of, users' interest, when it comes to data. And this is something that's constantly, in the press, when there's a lot of things going on related with user privacy and what's going on, around the world with all these data platforms. So I think it's a project that, so on top of how tough the technology is, the pure innovative, business model, it has to do a lot about people, and about this, I think, cool message, around this technology that, blockchain is allowing corporations and companies and projects to completely, rethink so much and so many traditional business models, and
yes.
I think that they are allowing to really bring, more trust on top of what has been done in the same way during the last 2 or 3 decades. So there are so many business models out there that haven't changed even a tiny bit during the last 15 years. And blockchain and cryptocurrencies are allowing like a high-speed transferability of value between market participants in an anonymous way with big protection, and that is completely changing so many industries right now. And that's probably one of the things that attracted me more when I started to be in touch with, this technology about, the possibilities. And it's very cool having, so you've been here around since 2017, no, you told me?
Mhm.
So the current wave of innovation in the blockchain space has nothing to do with what happened back in 2017. 2017, it was completely full of, visionary stuff, and people promising, heaven or whatever. Now we have actually a lot of specific use
It's
cases
a
of
bit more grounded, and solid, like the people, because you've got this working application that people are using.
yeah.
So you got consumers or people providing the data. You must have business consumers
Yeah.
at the other end. Who are they? Can you name any partner organizations, industries?
So what we're doing, so we have like two types of like partners or business partners. We have end data consumers, which are mainly consultancy big data companies. So this is location intelligence companies, business intelligence companies that are constantly looking for new sources of data. And I have a good friend here in Spain. He founded a company called Carto, which is a location intelligence company. And we've been talking several times in the last years. And he always says that the big data industry is a broken market, because they find it so much difficulties when they come to develop, the client projects they bring into the company. So they have this, I don't know, imagine a big Spanish bank, trying to learn more about whatever market, and they start with a project where they are spending like 80% of the resources of the project into a first stage of the project, which is about where data is, how can I buy it, actually buying it, organizing it, and preparing it to bring knowledge and to extract knowledge. So 80% they are using resources of the project in something that has no value. In which they are good is in this part of the project, in actually analyzing data, and extracting value from data. And this is because the industry is very inefficient. And this is an industry it has grown huge, but without the needed, like architecture, So this, imagine, Spain in the like 50 years ago. We didn't have like roads, we didn't have railway, we didn't have airports. So imagine we suddenly start to have, economic activity growing 10 times per year. Well, we wouldn't be able,
Yeah.
to respond to this like huge demand because we didn't have the needed architecture of the country. So this is what is happening with the big data industry. And the good thing about GEODB is that, so we are not trying to create a whole new like need or industry. So we're not starting from scratch. It's actually huge demand. Already like $300 billion is being poured into the market, and 50% of that money is actually being spent in buying raw data. So these transactions are going on. So what we think is that if the demand is out there and we make it easier for buyers to actually access data, while at the same time answering to some very important concerns from the user, well, this is a winning thing, which is a winning thing. Of course, we have challenges about how to explain the technology to the data buyers, what you were saying at the beginning. So do you think these guys are going to be able to actually start buying data with a cryptocurrency? How are they going to, start to using this? And the same from a user perspective. Are users going to be willing to get reward in the form of cryptocurrencies when they don't even still know what Bitcoin is? What part of the challenge of the company is education, And this is a mission that all of, any I would say any project, blockchain, crypto project in the world should be doing right now. So we are constantly educating our community. We have huge amount of people, behind our social networks, and we are constantly building, documentation, videos, explanations. So the faster adoption goes, the better for everyone. So we are trying, this is like a blockchain university as a project,
Sure. Okay. Well, one of the things that I'm curious about, Luis, is so you spent a couple of years building the platform, building the product, getting end users, consumers, and buyers, customers for your application. I looked in the Telegram group; it's got over 35, 36, 37,000 members.
Yeah, but that's a general one. It's like crazy. Every time I get into Telegram, we have like 20 country groups also. So it's crazy.
How come you've grown and nobody's heard about you? At least I haven't, right? Because with that level of usage, I would have expected more hype, to say the least.
Well, we are a very executional, team. I think that blockchain industry and crypto industry, sometimes it's too much about hype, and people showing off and just bringing, like promises to the market, and we did it the other way around. No, so we are focusing on technology and product, on executing and giving away a true ending working thing which can be trusted, with security, and thinking that if we had that, which is something that many projects don't have, that they only they launch a website with all types of cool hype words that are currently in the market, like NFT, DeFi, whatever, and then you have this cool lit paper, you launch your coin, and then you expect, to get traction. Well, instead of doing that, we focus like internally on let's focus on finding sweet spot here and actually answering to true market needs. And once we have that, the traction will coming, and at some point, we will get to be seen, and traded and bought. We started now, like, so now, of course, we've done things, of course, we did, our decentralized sale, and we've built, our decentralized liquidity pools in Uniswap and PancakeSwap. We recently launched our bridge between, ERC20 and BSC. So we're doing many of like the hype things right now, which are working quite good. So our coin volume has increased a lot recently. Our price also increased a lot, but still going step by step, not going crazy. Let's focus, execute, and if this works out, volume and traction and visibility will come in the end.
Yes. Well, an image comes to mind. 2 mining operations, right? One is there's an empty field and there's a crowd of people and there's a speaker. Yeah. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna dig for gold. And there's gonna be loads of gold and everything, right? And then everybody's rushing there, but they've not dug anything or built anything. Meanwhile, there's this other field. Nobody knows about it, and they're quietly digging away, mining for the gold, right? Which now people want the first one, but it's the second one that I think that makes the long-term economic success and viability.
I've seen everything in the end. So I've seen lovely projects with incredible talented people. And what I thought was a winning project, not getting there. And then really stupid, crazy, stuff that has no value at all, that it's just pure hype, and they simply explode, and it's not rational. But this is a very rational market, and innovative waves brings this, how do you say, distortions in the market, like things that cannot be yet understand. This is being built on the go right now, and we really don't know. Every one of us think that this is going to be huge, and it is already very big, and this is probably going to stay with us for the next 50 years. So many of us, we're not going to see where this is taking us. Okay, so I'm nearly 40 years old already. In 50 years, I will be 90, and probably I won't be able to think anymore. But
we have a lot of data about you, though.
this is just like internet in 1990. This is so. People think that just because Bitcoin was created like 12, 13 years ago, this is already like a very mature industry, but it's not. It's just starting. It's like internet 30 years ago. Yep. So for such a industry, there's still a long way to go, and there are no ways like to compare. You cannot really understand what's simply. And then when you get into this sort of bull run market, and so much money, because now I'm getting tons of messages every day from friends with which I've been discussing for, I promise, 7 years. Guys, you need to get into crypto. And now, Bitcoin 60,000. Now they're coming into me every
Luis,
day.
I know that. If my cousins are watching, I was telling them since 2013. 2013, I've been telling them, get some.
Now they are coming to my house every day. You need to show me how to, build my own wallet, and how do I do it? And, can you invest for me or whatever, and now they're just rushing into the market, So when you see this, is that again, my father's girlfriend, man, she's like 65. 65. And the other day she was asking me about, what was the best application to buy, I don't think, a Bitcoin. So when you see that you're getting these messages from, people you wouldn't expect, then you see something completely different that's happening in the market. Now it's getting to a certain level of the society, which is very far away from pure tech geek guys. This is now moving into another layer. And that's good for those that are here since 10 years, because that's going to push adoption and value. And we already got at the top. This is the same as when you get into a startup when it's very small and you are like the second one working there. If the startup grows, people start to come in from the bottom, then you're going to grow with the organization. And in the end, you're going to be the president just because you got in first. So I don't know. I mean, I think I'm happy with our strategy, long-term, building value, technology, focusing, trying to solve, inefficiencies in an existing industry. But man, I see so many other projects with nothing, and they get just so much crazy hype, and then their token is traded by millions every day, and they do 100x in 3 months. So I don't know.
Okay, well, Louis, talking about money and the money in the market and stuff, and also talking about sustainability and how you've been building this project, where have you, or not you personally, GEODB got their money from? Who are your partners and investors?
Well, so we've been building tech companies for almost 14 years already. So this is not our first venture. And so we have a very extensive network of investors, and mainly this first layer of, private investors, business angels, some pledge funds. And so it was pretty easy for us to raise our first round, which was back in 2018. So based on the, the hype that, blockchain had, then it was pretty easy for us, and then we had to move from.
How much did you raise in that first round?
That was like 1 million pounds, more or less.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 million pounds from like 100 investors. And then we closed another three rounds. Last one was 2 months ago. So in total, we've raised 6 million pounds, more or less. But we did it traditionally, So we've done equity fundraise. We've done crowdfunding campaigns in UK with Seeders and Qualcube. So we have a very big cap table with more than 2,000 equity investors. But the good thing is that all those investors were getting not only equity from the company, but also a small share of, our token supply. So they have several ways in which to, get a positive return on top of their investment. And
right.
So they were getting tokens they were getting equity, but like token bonus and like a super discounted price. So in the end, they are all very happy, waiting for unlocking periods to come. So this is something you have to deal with in probably 100% of the projects. The moment in which your early investors come onto the market.
Sure. Okay, and then that's what they've got to look forward to. What about smaller token holders, and what about for the project? What's on the roadmap? What's coming up?
Yeah. So basically, we are now like in the next 2-3 weeks, we are launching our first like MVP with a full funnel of data, from creation, pipelines, aggregation, marketplace, and the whole funnel and circular model of the token working around. But this is just like our first MVP. Our full mainnet will be deployed Q4 this year. That's called not GEODB, that's called Odin Protocol, which is a decentralized protocol based on the existence of a DAO with a governance token. And we are working on that currently. And that will be a full first version of our mainnet. So we have a lot of technical challenges throughout the next months as we approach the launch of that full version of the mainnet. So that's from a tech perspective. In the other hand, we are still improving our full token economics vision. So really thinking as an investor, as a token holder, what should we be expecting, and how can our token capture value on the long term, and working out things based on our experience in the last 2 years, more or less. So we listed the token back in August 2019, and by then I thought I knew a lot about the market. I thought I was an expert, and now I realized that I didn't have a clue about how this crazy crypto market is, and it's tough, because I've had other traditional technology digital companies where you have a lot of tech product challenges. Where here you have the same, but at the same time, you have to deal with this crazy crypto market and how you get your token listed, how you get traction, dealing with all your community, token holders, security stuff about the, smart contracts, how you make it, liquidity incentive programs. So there's a lot of things going on that you need to develop, which are not core of the business. Your core is your platform, your protocol, your technology, bringing activity within data activity within the protocol. But at the same time, you have to deal with all that, which is crazy. And well, we've learned a lot. And probably if I started back again, well, that's a good bunch of things that we would have done differently. But we're here now. We have a lot of experience and knowledge, and we expect to apply that in the coming months.
Okay. Now you said you were about to launch your MVP and then the mainnet a little bit later. But GEODB Cash, what's that? Isn't that part of it? I thought you already had a working application.
So imagine this decentralized protocol, okay, in which we have several founding partners which are going to be running nodes, okay. There are several business roles within the protocol. And the main goal of this protocol is to actually, confirm, transactions within the market participants, And within this protocol, we have basically two inputs. One is data, okay, and one is, demand for that data, And where is that data coming from? Well, it's coming from data providers. And data providers can be, as I said before, they can be mobile applications, that can be games, that can be IoT devices, that can be websites, that can be e-commerce platforms, okay? So Geocache, once this full mainnet is launched and that's decentralized, Geocache is just going to be another data provider platform, which is going to be connected to the protocol. The same way we will have Geocache, we will be having hundreds of other applications that are connected to the protocol to create data. Nowadays, it's the only data provider which is connected to the ecosystem. But in the future, we will have many of them. So once we launch this first MVP, Geocache is going to be launched into the mainnet, and that means that you are going to get true Geo tokens. During the testnet phase, you were getting a testnet token, okay? Which now, for those early adopters, of course, they're getting something. We have these swap platforms in which you can actually connect your wallet, okay? And you will see throughout 1 year how many mainnet tokens, Geo tokens, you're getting in exchange for your testnet tokens. So all of our early adopters are actually getting true economic value for the data, even though we are not going to sell or we are not going to commercialize all of the data that was accumulated during our testnet phase. Okay, but thanks to those users that were with us during those months, we learned a lot. We improved a lot. Geocache. Now we have our general, APIs and whatever other application wishes to connect to our ecosystem. So it's very easy right now. So Geocache is going to be at the same moment we launch this first MVP. So we are going to have a couple of data providers, data applications. We are going to have our ecosystem, and we are going to have our data marketplace. And that's our first MVP. So we're getting data coming in, data coming out, and an economic, system based in the existence of a token.
Right. Okay. Very
and
good.
In the end, you have to think the token as the final representation of data value itself. So owning our token means owning a piece of the data pool and the value of the data pool that has been stored within our ecosystem. Okay.
Okay. All right. And then, is there any particular geographic location or industry or sector that you're focusing on?
Well, yeah, Geocache is completely. It's not focused, so it's completely. It was created so that anyone in the world could use it, no matter the age, no matter. So it tries to be very user friendly, well designed, easy to understand. No, the thing is that of course there will be a specific types of platforms, like for example sports platforms. No, so we are developing this running platform which is called Volta, and of course, depending on the type of platform or application, well, data will be different. Of course, if for example, imagine you are using a health app, and that health app is connected to our ecosystem. Well, then probably, for example, we may be able to capture your heart rate, for example. Of course, from Geocache, we do not access that heart rate data because that app is not connected to an IoT device. But at some point, we are going to be increasing, data sources and data types, so that, data pool is much more extensive and is capable of answering more questions from more types of potential data buyers.
Okay. Thank you very much. And then I'm going to have the links in the description below for people who want to get involved. Is there anything else you want to let people know?
Well, I think that we are something that many of the projects out there lack. So we are, I don't know, we are a well-known, serious public team. We have tons of equity investors. We've been playing hard for many years. So we've shown we can execute. I think we have a lovely project with lovely message. Trying to solve real economical issues, and we have a very inspiring roadmap ahead. So I'm, as people normally say, I'm very bullish with the project, and there's still huge amount of milestones and challenges to face in the coming months and years. But we're getting there. And I just asked your community to check us out, and I'm pretty sure that they're gonna like what they're gonna see.
Yes. Well, I think for me, the 30,000, 35,000 plus in the main Telegram group, plus the 300,000 active users, plus the fact that you focused on product development versus on rah and hype. That to me speaks volumes. And you're working in the field of big data. And big data is the new oil.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's what
solving a real world problem in that using the blockchain. Okay, Lewis, listen, thank you so much. For anybody who's watching, if you have any comments or questions, put them on the description below. I would like to have Lewis back on the channel again. He hasn't said he will, but we shall see. He's busy, right? But I'd love to have you back on at some point. And if you have any comments or questions, in the description below, go check out this project, do your own due diligence. And between now and when I see you next, please keep filling your pockets with crypto profits. This is Crypto Rich and Crypto Lewis signing out. All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.